Okay, I'm not hearing anyone, so I'm just going to start. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'm so pleased to see so many of my colleagues here. Thank you very much. So I'm going to start. First of all, my topic is how to negotiate your salary, or if you're already in the organization, it's how to negotiate a raise. And the first thing I want to talk about, okay, is, oh, how do I go to my next slide? How do I go to my next slide? Okay. That's horrible. Okay, let me know if you're seeing that slide. Perfect. Perfect. So the first thing I want you to know about yourself is to know your value. You're priceless. You cannot go negotiating a salary when you haven't put a price tag on yourself. And there was a survey that went out that says 31% of women and 23% of men do not negotiate for a higher salary because they feel uncomfortable. But those who are brave, those who know their value, they work up the courage to ask for a higher raise or a higher starting salary. And you know what? 75% of those individuals get what they're asking for. So before you negotiate, are you hearing me quite good? Somebody's saying connectivity is a problem. Just put in the chat if you're not hearing me, and I will quickly put on my, oh, good, excellent. Thank you, Laura. So before you negotiate, there are certain things you have to do first of all. And the first one is to, as I said before, know your worth. The second piece is be open to different types of compensation. Now, some people might believe that, okay, I need to earn $60,000. And if the company does not offer them that, then they might not want to take that salary. However, sometimes there are companies that the salary might appear low, but the benefit adds up between 20 to 30% more. So if you're being paid $60,000 base, and then the benefits will add another 30%, you're looking at close to $20,000 more. So be open to different types of compensation. Before you start your negotiation, and we'll talk about research later on, but before you start your negotiation, create a list. And this is specifically to people who are already in the company and they're looking for a raise. Create a list to make your case. Don't just go to your boss and say, you know what, I've been here 5 years and it's time for a raise. No, create a list. Why do you want a raise? And use data to support your position. So in terms of, tell them about all the accomplishments you have made, all the accomplishments, all the contributions you have made to the company. Go to them with something, with a list to convince them why you need that raise. And if you don't get the raise at that time, don't give up. Stay positive and continue trying. So that's for someone who is already within the company. The people, new employees, here is what you need to do to develop your raise script. You need to research the company. The same way you research the company to determine whether you'd want to work for them, you need to do some research on the company to find out what their pay scale looks like. You also want to research other companies within the industry, and you also want to research people who are on your same level. So if you're an accountant, you would want to research the salaries that are paid to accountants, and then you can speak from a position of knowledge. Assess your situation. Assess your situation. What is important to you? Some people, money is very important. Others, a promotion might be important. So determine that. In other people, growth might be important. So money might not necessarily be the issue for you. So assess your situation before you start negotiating. And then the I is to introduce your why. Why should they offer you the salary you're asking for? Or why should they promote you? And it's your time to tell them, well, you have increased productivity, you improved customer satisfaction, you helped the company to make money or save money. Go in there with your why. Then you move to the S, speak up. Don't be shy. You have made a contribution. Don't be shy. Be confident. You know your value and you know what you brought to the company or what you will bring to your new company. So don't be shy about telling people what it is that you need. And E for end strong. Remind them of what you have already accomplished and what you'll be able to do for them. And I'll just move down to some things you should not do in negotiating. So the first don't is do not accept an offer on the spot. One of my clients did that a couple of years ago, and was a senior client with a PhD. He went to the interview, they offered him the job, and he accepted it right away. Well, what happened next? 2 months into it, he realized he had received a lower pay than his co-workers. So of course he got upset, he was unhappy, and you know what? He resigned 2 months afterwards. And the reason that happened, he just did not do his research. The next point is do not focus on your co-workers. And this is specifically for those who are already working with the company. Don't focus on your co-workers and what they're doing or what they're not doing. You focus on what you bring to the table. You focus on your performance, how well you have done. Make sure that you're taking notes during the time. Make sure if you work on a project, you work on a project with someone, make a note, journalize it, because when it's time for your performance appraisal, you don't want to be wondering, oh, what did I do again? You want to make sure that you have your notes there so you can say to your boss, remember when we worked on the project in March? This was my contribution. What that does, it convinces the boss that, yes, you really made a difference to this project. So instead of giving you a 1 or 2% increase, he or she will offer you something higher. Okay, so focus on you and your contribution, not on your co-workers. The next point, do not focus on your personal life. You know, some people go to the negotiation table, and the first thing they start thinking about is, their first argument is, well, you know, I need to purchase a house, or I need to purchase a car, or my son will be going into university and I need the money to help pay his fee. Well, let me tell you a secret. Employers don't care about that. So you're not going to tell them about your personal life. You need to tell them why. You need to convince them why they should give you the salary you're asking for or the promotion that you're asking for. But don't focus on the personal side because they don't care about that. Focus on the value that you bring. And then once you have all of that ready, once you have your script ready, the next thing I suggest is that you practice. Practice your R.A.I.S.E script. What is it you're going in there to say? Practice, sit with someone you trust to do the role play, or record yourself to eliminate any flaws. And especially these days when lots of things are happening on online, you need to make sure that you practice and practice and practice, because practice builds confidence. Then here are some resources I want to share with you, some salary websites, and I will see if I can copy and paste them in the chat box for you. But here's some, so before you enter into a negotiation, remember I said at the start, you must do your research. Here's some of the websites that you can do the research. Jobbank.gc.ca, it's a very good site. Salary.com is very good. Salary.monster.ca is another site. Payscale.com. CanadaVisa.com has a link to a salary wizard, and monster.salary.com is a good site as well. And then Glassdoor. Glassdoor not only tells you about employers and whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, but they also have a section for salary. It's a salary website as well. So let me just turn over to the chat where I can type in one of the. Can someone just put a note there if you saw my slide, if you're still hearing me? Okay, excellent. Excellent. Great. So I'm just flipping screens here so I can copy the other websites that I have. And then we have about 7 or so minutes. So I will take questions after. And while I am flipping from screen to screen, so remember, never take an offer at the first, because employers expect you to negotiate. And don't be afraid. Know yourself, know your value. That's very important. Don't go in there thinking that the employer has all the cards. The fact that they have called you to an interview means you have something that they need. And so I want you to think in terms of being confident, being able to speak up. Okay, and I'll just put in the last one, and then I will entertain some questions. Okay, so any questions? Anything that I missed? Okay, so I'm not seeing any. How best to answer if HR asks for expected salary range? That's a very good question, Sandeep. That's where your research will help. Because if you're an accountant, you would know that accountants, they're paid, say, between, I'm just guessing now, but say 70 to $120,000. You would have done your research. You would have known the bottom line, what salary, what's the bottom line you would expect. So when you go in, you can tell them, based on my research, I know that accountants are paid 70,000 to 100,000 per year. And you have seen my resume. We have spoken. You've known. I've just explained how I could bring value to you. So the range I'm looking at would be such and such. I would hesitate to give them a specific figure because sometimes you end up giving one that's too low or you give them one that's too high and they might not want to. So once you have done your research, you can give them the range or you can zero in on on a figure. But the best thing is to do the research so you have an idea how much they pay. Okay, Brenda is asking, what about if you don't know? What about if you're applying for a job, have not been in this job before? So how do you know what to answer? Okay, so let me answer Brenda's question first before Taranville. What about you if you don't know? Well, if you don't know, Brenda, at least you know what your salary is or was. You should know what salary range you're looking at, and then you can present it to them. Now, I also warn job seekers, for, never bring up the topic of salary first. They always say anybody who brings up salary first loses. So you don't want to do that. But allow them, focus on what you bring, focus on your accomplishments and what you would bring to the table. And then allow them to start with the salary range. If they don't, as in Brenda's case, if you don't know, you should go in there confidently knowing this is the going range in the industry, and I'm looking at a salary between this figure and the other. Okay, so research is important. For Taranvir, what if HR compares your previous salary? I believe, Taranvir, that, well, I know in the US now it's not legal to ask for your previous salary. I'm not sure about Canada. But again, don't basing if an employee of HR is going to compare your previous salary with the one you're looking for, then I would definitely have a conversation with them to say, this is what this has been my accomplishment. This is what I have done for you as a company, or this is what I did for my former company. I have done my research. I know what the industry average is. And really, they shouldn't be comparing your previous salary with that at all. I'll give you an example of I coached a client who was moving to the city of Toronto, and they quoted him a salary. And he phoned me and he said, Daisy, the salary is not what I was expecting, but I'm afraid that if I gave them a figure, they might rescind the offer, they might take it back. And I said, no. Don't go in there with that mindset. Let's strategize on how you can present yourself. I said, what's the salary you're looking? And he told me. And I said, what else are you looking outside of the salary? He said he would like them to pay his membership fees and something else. So I said, okay, let's talk about that. And we discussed it. And he went in very confident after our discussion. And you know what? He ended up getting them to pay his membership fee. And he ended up getting, I think, $15,000 more than they had offered him before. Again, it's all about the research. It's all about being confident of your value, what you can bring, and then presenting it, speaking up, presenting it in a confident manner. So they know that when they hire you, they are getting value. So don't be afraid to ask a question. Okay? Any other question? Well, I think it's 3:20 now, and I will be going over into the networking session. If there are no other questions, thank you so much for popping by, and I'll be going over to the networking session to see if anybody wants to. I should put my, just before you go, I should put my contact information in. Anybody can connect with me through LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram. So once again, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you in the networking area. Bye for now.